Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use Queen Charge LaLo here at Townhall 12 to 3-star any base. So here's the army composition that we are going to be using today, and honestly Queen Charge LaLo is probably one of the most powerful lower Townhall strategies you can use in Clash of Clans. Couple of key things here when it comes to hero equipment. Definitely probably going to need that frozen arrow. It's really beneficial when we're queen charging. Magic mirror can be interchanged with pretty much any other piece of equipment. For our king, the snake bracelet is really beneficial. The spiky ball also very powerful at these lower town halls. However, both can be switched out if you don't have them or have them upgraded. For our Grand Warden, we're going to be coming in, of course, with that Eternal Tome. The Rage Gem also going to be super beneficial. For our army itself, plenty of different troops in there, but the bulk is going to be made up, of course, of the healers and those balloons. But let's jump in and we'll break this down. So, of course, as the title would suggest, we are going to be kicking off proceedings with that Queen Charge. Now, what we want to do with our Queen Charge is try to take down a corner section of the base. So if you just zoom all the way out and you imagine that you divide the base into 4 sections. We have this bottom kind of diamond corner here. This is what we're going to be looking to take down with the Queen. Now, we've targeted this particular section because of a couple of things. We have good access into the base with a nice little bit of funneling, a couple of baby dragons or wizards just to help create that funnel, which should be able to push our queen in. We're looking to take down the enemy queen as well as any other problematic hero like the Grand Warden or the Minion Prince. Remember, the Minion Prince himself cannot be targeted by ground-based troops and will be easily smashing through your balloons if left unchecked. So we're going to continue pushing our queen on through. She's of course looking to take down air defenses, wizard towers, inferno towers, anything that's going to cause problem for our LaLo part of the attack, as well as enemy heroes. The next most important thing we're going to be looking to take down is those clan castle troops. We have to make sure those CC troops are dealt with before we get our LaLo coming in. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Not the hardest CC to deal with. However, at Townhall 12 a lot of the time now we're seeing furnaces being used, and furnaces can be a real problem. So if you do see a furnace coming out, make sure to go ahead and drop that poison spell down on the furnace rather than on your troops that are coming out towards your queen. King has done a marvellous job pushing up and around towards that top section of the base. Ideally, we were looking for him to go in towards that Eagle artillery, but sometimes things don't always go to plan. So for this particular one, we're going to bring in our Stone Slammer. It's going to tidy up the back end here. And if we pause things up, as you guys can see, our queen has dealt with this entire diamond section as I was talking about. Down in this bottom section of the base, she did unfortunately go down. Always going to be handy if you can try and keep her alive. The king, with the help of that Stone Slammer on the back end, has dealt with this right section of the base. So we've already dealt with pretty much half of the base right here, and we're left with a really easy path for our LaLo to follow. Now remember, when you're deploying down your balloons, drop them down in groups. We do not want to bunch them all up together because when it comes to splash damage, they're just going to easily melt through your balloons. So keep them, spread them out as much as you possibly can. Of course, when we do start to get closer towards that town hall, we're going to want to bring in some spell support. So that means that the Eternal Tome, as well as Rage and haste spells. But that's exactly what we did right there. You'll see we used that Eternal Tome to protect our balloons through that town hall. We're then raging through there and hasting towards to get them away from that damage zone. But this one easily crushed. As you guys can see, Zap LaLo, Queen Charge LaLo is incredibly powerful. So let's jump in and we'll take a look at that next one. So for this next example, again approaching it the exact same way, cutting the base into 4 sections, looking to take down another section of the base hopefully with our king, and then the LaLo should hopefully take down the remaining parts of the base. Sometimes you are going to want to make sure you are potentially looking to get that town hall with either your queen or your king. For us here, the queen probably is too far for her to go all the way in and get that town hall. However, we could funnel the king in towards that town hall and hopefully secure it. Remember, you're probably either going to be taking down the town hall with either your queen, your king, or the LaLo portion of your attack. I know that's kind of the only things in here, but you have to make sure you know what you are using to take down the Town Hall, if that makes sense. Don't just hope that your queen might get there. You need to plan for her to either get there, and if you know she's not going to get there, or you plan for her to go in a different direction, you want to make sure your king or your LaLo is going to be used to take down that Town Hall, because if you don't plan to get it, the chances are you won't get it, because it's an incredibly powerful defense and it chews through LaLos if you do not have the supporting heroes or spells to get through it. A couple more super wall breakers going to be coming in, of course, giving our queen far more access through into the core of the base. Very, very important you try to get her as deep into the base as possible so you can maximize the value you are getting. Now we've created a beautiful path here for our LaLo to follow. We have that air defense down in this bottom section, easy job for our Stone Slammer to deal with, and now we can start to think about getting that LaLo coming in. Stone Slammer going to tidy up these last couple of defenses. We have the Tesla farm up on that top section, so we do need to be careful, and now we are taking action. We're going to get the Eternal Tome ability in nice and early. No worries about using it for the Town Hall because that was already secured, like I said, with our Barbarian King. Queen, luckily for us here, does end up surviving all the way through to the end, and that's what I was talking about. If you can keep her alive using your rage spells, using her ability as and when you need it, you're going to have a much easier time, because the queen, of course, as you bring in that LaLo, she will not only continue getting lots of value, she will also do some tanking for some of those defenses. So this is why, personally, I think this is one of the strongest strategies here at Townhall 12. And moving through into that third and final example, we do have a pretty unorthodox base, a difficult base to split into 4, as I was talking about in those previous examples, but we're still going to try and approach it the exact same way. Queen charging into this top compartment. Again, if we did split the base, this would be one of the compartments we are talking about. We do encounter that Tesla farm over there on that right hand side of the base pretty early, so it's something you will also always need to be careful with. You may potentially, if you encounter early, need to use a rage spell on your queen charge so she doesn't go to auto ability. We want to hold her ability, especially with that magic mirror, until we get right into the core of the base. Now the king unfortunately did have to be deployed early here to deal with that Tesla farm, but let's hope that he is going to be able to get in there and deal with that Town Hall. Of course, we do still have his ability, so let's see if he's going to be able to do that. Don't forget about that clan castle as well. We do have those clan castle troops to hopefully deal with, so we have lured them out with our king, but it looks like they're probably going to take him down, so it's going to be up to the queen to tidy them up. The Town Hall does not fall to our king, so that's pretty unfortunate there that we didn't get what we were looking for, but regardless, we don't panic. We have that Stone Slammer to come through as a bit of backup, and remember, we do of course still have that LaLo as well. Now, a lot of people will say you don't want to LaLo against multi-target Infernos, but for me, you just approach it the exact same way. Just think of the multi-target Infernos as something you're going to need to use your Eternal Tome ability to get through. Because we have used that Stone Slammer to get through that Town Hall, we don't have to worry about that anymore. The Queen is still going strong and she does still have her ability, which is absolutely perfect for us. And now we can start thinking about the direction we're going to be bringing that LaLo in from. Remember, you do not want to waste too much time. Typically, I like to do it just through about halfway through the attack, about 1 minute 30, 1 minute 20 is when you want to start thinking about really getting that LaLo in if you have not already. It can be quick with the haste, with the rage. However, you don't want to leave it too last minute. You're not going to be able to do a 20-second LaLo. It just isn't going to happen. And don't forget, once you do start deploying your LaLo, if we pause things up, you'll notice we have those minions already coming in behind those balloons. So the balloons taking down the defenses, we then have those dragons swinging on through behind to help us clean up some of those last few buildings. LaLo now really making progress in towards the double multi-target Inferno, hasting all the way through into these first couple of defenses. We have the rage spells as well, which we're going to drop. Be careful of enemy heroes. If you do have enemy heroes like the Queen, Minion Prince, Grand Warden left up, that is what that skeleton spell is going to be used for, as well as any freeze or rages if you still have them. But a fairly convincing 3-star there to finish off this video. And honestly, like I said, probably one of my favorite strategies to watch, because it takes a lot of skill with that queen charge, trying to direct her in the right way, make sure you get the value, and then the LaLo, you're really it feels like you're doing a very strategic attack, even though once you've mastered that queen charge, the LaLo should be fairly easy because she is doing all the heavy lifting. But hopefully you guys did find this video helpful, hopefully you've learned to LaLo a little bit better, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.